is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another instant match reaction. Spurs have drawn 1-1 against Wolves thanks to a 95th minute João Paulinho 25-yard half volley to get us the equaliser. It was a very, very frustrating game and frustrating performance from Tottenham Hotspur. It looked for all the world to see in that second half we were going to be on the end of a very embarrassing defeat and giving Wolves their first win of the season. Didn't quite happen like that. We just about got over the line in terms of a draw. We right at the last, João Paulinho getting his third goal of the season, I think. Yeah. Incredible from him. Here with Josh to go through the game. First off, you got to say, you know, we were the better team.
Yeah.
Should have really taken the lead, created numerous chances. Kudus kind of balling out on the right-hand side. You know, he was a massive threat. And I think not taking any of those chances, you'd probably say, when you look back in the context of the game, really cost us.
Yeah, 100%. You know, brilliant first half. Should have scored at least one, I'd say. We deserved at least one. But yeah, it's just what happens when you don't take your chances. And, you know, I criticised Frank's initial lineup. I still have those criticisms, as in, like, I don't think we needed both Paulinho and Bentancur. But even I have to admit that it was working first half. But I've got to give credit to the Wolves manager here, who's been under pressure. He made changes on half-time as well. He didn't muck around, changed his shape, and we had no answer. Yeah,
and you could have forgiven the Wolves manager for keeping it the same, considering it was 0-0. Result's probably a good result for him.
Yeah.
And to think, okay, we haven't conceded, things are going well. But he noticed, look, Kudus is having too much joy down that side. We need to shore things up. We need to ask them a different question. They're finding it too easy to press us. They're penning us in too much. And what he did, went to a back three at half-time. He changed their structure. All of a sudden, they were the ones having a lot more possession. I want to look at their possession in that second half because in the first half, we had 56. Second half, they had 53. So all of a sudden, they had a lot more possession. They were finding it a lot easier to keep the ball. Kudus wasn't getting any joy on the right or the left. And
he didn't really play that much on the right, though, did he?
Who, Kudus? Yeah, not much, I guess, Only for the first, 15 minutes. And when they're now having the wing-backs, it kind of I felt like it penned our full-backs a bit back. Doggy wasn't getting the joy down the left-hand side like he was.
Yeah.
Also, I felt like Spence was helping out Kudus a lot in that first half, getting forward, forcing a defender with him, which left Kudus in a lot of one-on-one situations. But all of a sudden, when they got that back free, it's like Kudus all of a sudden had a wing-back and a wide centre-back to be, rather than just one-on-one.
Exactly.
And it was just a lot more difficult to find any joy. They then get the goal, you know, really a frustrating goal to concede. A corner comes in, Bueno gets the header on it. Look, I think Vicario's distracted by the defender in front of him.
Yeah.
On another day, you know, he might even have been able to take it into him.
Yeah.
He panics a bit. He thinks the defender's in front of him is getting a touch. He dives in front of it, gets a really weak kind of slap on the ball, and they're able to bundle it home. And giving Wolves the lead at that point is just like the worst.
The worst thing you can do. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
like you know, especially
and they grew off
because they were growing in confidence in the second half. We were struggling to create chances the same way we were doing that first half. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't like they looked like scoring, but you just give them that encouragement. You give them that goal. All of a sudden, they got something to hang on to. And it became, I felt like after they scored, it became like a 5 times harder game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And it's weird because, like you say, you know, I don't know what the big chances stats are or anything like that, but it didn't look like they were going to score after they scored, but they were definitely in control, 100%.
In the second half,
in the second half. We didn't threaten much at all. We were reduced to aimless crosses that didn't really, you know, penetrate much. Richarlison had that half chance, didn't he? Like it was.
And you got to say a bit of a worrying thing in that we went behind. Frank then makes a few changes. I mean, a few changes was on paper I could understand. I mean, put Bergvall a bit deeper, Xavi in the middle. But he put Brennan on, puts him on the right, puts Kudus on the left.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense to me. All of a sudden, Udogie and Kudus, that dynamic didn't make too much sense to me. They weren't linking up too much. Brennan, you know, on the right-hand side, he's not much of a creator, to be honest, and he didn't have too much of an impact on the game.
At all,
to be honest. And
in fact, his impact was negative in my eyes because, you know, whereas if you've got a Kudus there, he'll play with his fullback. And, you know, there was like 3 times where they passed it out to Johnson and he had to run all the way back because he can't play on the half turn. He can't do anything.
And so Porro was laying off to him, going on the overlap.
Yeah, and then
Paul Johnson kept having to go backwards because there's no Porro backwards to pass back, and he doesn't want to turn. So he kept losing it. And also, we had this dynamic against Brighton. You know, Bergvall off the right-hand side, Kudus there with Simmons. And it was working so well, but...
And we didn't get to see that today for very long at all.
Unfortunately. Bergvall, I have to say, he moved a bit deeper and he did struggle. In when he moved a bit deeper. They were getting just the better of him physically. They brought on a few kind of physical midfielders and he was struggling to deal with them. Bellegarde was getting the better of him. Simmons wasn't really getting involved. I don't know whether it was the dynamic in midfield that was making them struggle or just the fact that physically they were up against the likes of Gomez, Andre, Bellegarde, and they were just getting bullied in that middle.
And they were just bringing on...
And look, it was, and to be fair, it was a change I was calling for, but maybe it's, you know, doing it at that point when it's like half an hour to go and, you know, the legs are feeling a bit heavier.
Goal down.
Maybe when the legs are fresher right at the beginning when you're more able to keep up with like those kind of players. And you can use that energy you've got to kind of get that extra step. Maybe that's the time to have it. Whereas maybe later in the game when the legs are tiring, although against Brighton it did work, so... Although Brighton more of a technical side rather than a physical side like Wolves.
No, so but like, look, against Brighton, here's the key difference for me. Xavi is coming on, He's coming on fresh legs to play 10, Today, he's given Xavi, what was it, like...
An hour.
No, in the 10, he's given him, what, 9-10 minutes or something? Because he was... Like, how long was he in the 10 for? When did they make the changes where...
60, so about 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay, there you go. And then you had Odebear on the left already, and we...
No, Odebear came on for him.
No, sorry, I'm thinking about Brighton.
Right, sorry.
I'm talking about the differences between them. But anyway, long story short, I'm really unhappy with the fact that we started Xavi on the left again when he has looked... not great on the left, The best he's looked for us so far is in the 10, when in that half an hour cameo,
Even today, I thought his best parts of his game were a bit central.
It's central, And what I'm not very happy about is that we only seem to be going for it as a reaction. There's no self-confidence in... us being able to break a team down from the beginning, you know, taking a risk and playing a more progressive midfielder like Bergvall deeper and then Xavi in the 10 from the beginning. That first half might have been completely different. That could have given us the edge, do you know what I mean, to score some of those chances or whatever. So for me, that is a slight worry that we don't seem to look like we... know how to progress the ball centrally. When they come in and shore up the wings by moving to a back 3 and having your wide centre backs and your wing backs defending together, what can you do in the centre? Nothing, it looks like. Do you know what I mean? And the reason for that is because we aren't playing any progressive players in the centre. Do you know what I mean? And you're making Kudus go wider by playing him on the left because he's left-footed, and you've got wide wingers then. Do you know what I mean? So it's I just wasn't happy with the way things went. I think the lineup was wrong. I don't think the subs. Some of the subs were right, but not executed in the right way. Like putting Brennan on the right. And in fact, I wouldn't have brought Brennan on anyway. I would have brought either Odebear or Tell. And I would have just tried to mimic what we did against Brighton. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have tried to be too clever here.
I agree. And I think there's got to be also a concern of... And look, fair play. Look, the team kept going because you have to say that last half an hour was a mess and a shit show. We could have conceded another. Not necessarily because they had loads of chances, although they had that one, I think Bueno on the left-hand side, Vicario had to save with his legs. They did have a lot of openings. Like a better team probably get a second goal in that last half an hour, the last 20 minutes that we had. But fair play to the team. Like they kept going. We found a moment. We got the goal, and it was a great goal from Paulinho. But I don't think you can really say the goal came from many changes. It was just like nothing, wasn't it?
It was Tell. I know people say I'm a Tell lover. I'm trying to give it to Tell, but Tell obviously aimless ball. Really, it wasn't. It looked almost looked like he was trying to shoot or cross or whatever. And then it came from that, but that was just pure like frustration.
It's just a bit out of nothing, you know. Paulinho, you can't really rely on Paulinho, a 25-yard half volley into the corner every game. And
Frank tactical master.
I mean, it's a brilliant goal. Great. I mean, and watching it again, right into the corner. Fair play, Paulinho.
Amazing.
Third goal in a Spurs shirt. He wasn't brought to score goals, but he's our top goal scorer now, I believe, isn't he?
Jesus.
Joint top goal scorer. With three. So fair play to him. But you have to say that last half an hour was definitely a concern because back off what we saw like against Bournemouth, it was very similar to that. Just all over the place. We were a mess, panicking all over the place. No build-up. You know, playing passes back to Vicario and him just playing it straight out of play. Panicking along the back.
There does not seem to be...
Getting bullied as well, physically overpowered.
But like my biggest concern, I've been saying this for a few weeks as well, is that we do not seem to have multiple plans in build-up at all. The only plan seems to be pass it along the back line and hope Kudus can do something on his side because whoever's on the left side is not going to progress the ball. Like there's no intricate, triangles happening in midfield or anything like that. And, maybe that'll come. This is something like Frank is just trying to shore us up first. And this is just part of the plan. Like he wants us to play more basic football at the start while we get into our shape and we get to know each other and stuff. But this needs to start changing quickly because I feel like we have been riding our luck quite a lot, to be honest.
In some other games.
Yeah, in some other games. Like, Bournemouth could have been 4-0 or so easily. Brighton was decent. Burnley... for me, wasn't a 3-0 game. Like they definitely had big spells in that game. City, we always beat City, whatever. When we start
Villarreal, we won.
Yeah, Villarreal, exactly. Like we haven't. And what worried me slightly today, not to be too negative, but was before the game, Frank said, it's been one bad performance out of 6 or 7 or something like that. And I'm like, I'm not quite sure. Like that, I think that a lot of our good results. We haven't had dominant performances. Do you know what I mean?
West Ham, had to wait till the red card. Really.
Exactly, wait until the red card, and so I hope he's seeing that. That's my worry. Is he seeing that, and is that a priority to change that to change build up?
I hear that. In defence of just to give another side to that, if we do put one of those chances away in the first half, it's a different game today.
100%, yeah, 100%.
It's a different game, and then all of a sudden. Do they do what they do in the second half, but go to a back three and do all these changes to try and nullify us when we're 1-0 down? It changes their mindset.
Yeah, they'd probably be more attacking at that point.
Exactly, and the game comes a lot harder. And we did have, Kudus at the bar with that really great chance in the first half.
Scored the offside goal.
The offside goal. Like we were playing some quite good football in that first half.
Yeah, I would say, definitely better, but it shouldn't be that easy for a team to nullify us. Let's bring on another centre back and then that's it. Do you know
it worried me that for a manager who we know is very tactically adaptable and tactically astute, like just a simple change of we're going to go to a back three kind of threw him off so much.
Yeah.
Because he knows how to play. He's used to playing the back three. In his career, for Brentford, it's a system he knows well. So he should know. They're going to a back three, so what advantages and disadvantages they're going to get from doing that in their setup. And it seemed like he just didn't really have an answer to it.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
even if it meant matching them up, maybe I don't know. But look, I'm not an expert. I'm just surprised that it threw him off. Like maybe against Bournemouth was a bit different. It was more like they were just pressing us into oblivion. Sometimes when a team's in their mode, it's hard to get out of it because physically they were just so intense on us, and we didn't really have an answer to that intensity. And sometimes that can happen on a day. But I felt like it was much more tactical in this one than anything. Yes, physically as well, there were times they were bullying us. They got a lot more physical players on the pitch, it felt, and they seemed to overpower us. But I felt like today was much more of a tactical kind of mismatch. I felt like Pereira tactically got one over on Frank in that second half, and it seemed as though he didn't have an answer to what Pereira was doing in that second half, and that was just surprised me a bit because I thought that just a simple change wouldn't have kind of shaken him or shaken us that much. And maybe it's just a case of, look, we are still 6 games into the season.
He's still learning his squad.
And not just him, the players are learning all these different things. Like, it's going to take a bit of time. And at the end of the day, we didn't lose. We got the draw. And it's a game we should have lost, I think. For in that, where we were in the last half an hour, we didn't look like scoring.
100%.
We were
they deserve to win the game for me. They do.
Well, on the balance of, if you take the whole 90 minutes...
I suppose the first half,
If you take the whole 90 minutes into account, you could probably say a draw is a fair result. But when you take into account from when they scored, so for the last up until the end, they should have won the game.
We didn't.
We were out of that game. They had us.
They
had us exactly where they wanted us. We were nowhere. We weren't going to score. They had us. They had the game in the palm of their hand. It was just a moment out of nothing, which is a bit unlucky on their part. Which we got the equaliser. So if you're a Wolves player or manager or fan, you can probably feel a bit frustrated that it's really unlucky you didn't win the game. But I think if you're looking at it from Frank's point of view, on the balance of play over the whole 90 minutes, you can probably say a draw is a fair result because we probably should have got a goal in the first half. We didn't, and we got a goal, nothing in the second half. And it was a good goal. Credit to Paladin, it's a good goal. Like, just a bit of quality.
A beautiful strike,
lucky.
man.
It's lucky kind of they were down nothing, but it's a great finish. And it's a big piece of quality. So fair play. So I think it wasn't all bad, but definitely the last half an hour, or a lot of second half at the very least, is a big concern how we just got outmaneuvered in the game and how we allowed a Wolves side who should be low on confidence, have no points this season, get the better of us tactically in the game.
I'd even say that there were points in the first half. I know that we had the better chances, we had the better attacks, but I do honestly think that, like, we could still be better than that first half. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still think that there's more. Do you know what I mean? There's more that we should be doing. We need to concentrate more on... I like the shape that he's built, but we need to concentrate on what we can do to hurt teams away from set pieces. We need to concentrate on attacking patterns, on how we build up through the centre and you know, just more. That's what I want from Frank.
The only thing I would say is we've gone behind now 3 times in the league. Against Bournemouth and Wolves, we haven't reacted well to it. Brighton, we have, but I would say Brighton are, in their nature, a more offensive team. Like, they're more of a technical side, so they do allow you kind of back. Like, again, Bournemouth, a bit more physical. I'm not saying they're a defensive team, but they're not necessarily Bournemouth and teams, especially a Wolves side, who are pragmatic. They made it a lot more difficult for us to get back in it. We didn't seem to have an answer. So, you know, still question marks about when we don't score the first goal, how we're responding. But fair play, like last week against Brighton, we did, and we got the goals. And look, to be fair, we got the goal today, so I can't really say didn't do anything, because we did equalise, so we got the goal. But the response and how we played is a bit of a concern. But look, at the end of the day, always complaining and always worrying, that draw puts us third. So it's not all bad, is it?
No,
when it comes to what's happening with Tottenham. You know, third in the league, 1 point behind second with Palace. Fair play to Palace, doing amazing. And 4 points behind Liverpool, who are currently top of the league. So,
look, at the end of the day, they didn't really have a sniff. Like, it's a set piece that we've conceded.
Wolves,
so like that part of what Frank's doing is working, and I'll give him that. But this is Tottenham, and I want to see us, you know,
off the back of this game, and then the Brighton game as well. Does Vicario come more into question for you?
I would love to give Kinski a run.
Really?
Right now.
Just make him number one.
Like, maybe play Vicario in some Champions League games and give Kinski some, like, just kind of give us a run where we get to see both of them. Do you know what I mean?
Because Kinski did well against Doncaster, but it is Doncaster.
Yeah, but I think Kinski, some of those moments where, like, especially when we were chasing the game and the ball goes back to Vicario and his kicking is just wayward. There's no purpose to it or anything. In that moment, Kinski would be so much better. And, you know, like you said, the Doncaster goal, I don't think his shot stopping's terrible. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's terrible.
Who, Kinski?
Yeah, so I'd love to give him a go, because if he's better, he seems better on corners as well, doesn't he? Don't you think, Kinski?
Well, it was a bit of a worry today how he flapped at that one, Vicario.
Yeah.
I'm giving a bit of a benefit of the doubt because I did feel.
But then the Brighton game last week, that was
Brighton game was terrible. That goal he conceded was terrible.
And then today, opinion. This is his fault as well, in my opinion. That's his fault. Like,
I think so, but only because it is his fault. But he was assuming that the defender in front of him was going to touch the ball, which he didn't.
Yeah.
Which would have been an easier save. But if the defender does touch the ball, obviously he's got to react quick to that.
Yeah.
So so I feel give him a bit of grace, but I wouldn't say it's a howler, but it was a mistake. Like at the end of the day, he should have got a stronger hand to it. Should have got it clear of the box or put it behind or something. And he just weakly put it into Paulinho, just caused chaos and allowed the goal and allowed. It was just it's a really soft goal.
Yeah.
Soft goal.
Yeah.
And I think Vicario will not be happy with that for sure. And the fact that that's off the back of the Brighton game
and the fact that Kinski was brilliant. I know it's Doncaster, but he was brilliant that game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, all right, that is your instant match reaction. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the result today. Josh,